What a remarkable run it has been in Columbus for Urban Meyer. 82-9 as Ohio State's head coach heading into his final game as the lead man for the Buckeyes as they take on Washington Tuesday in Meyer's first ever Rose Bowl appearance. Very pleased to be joined by the head coach of the Buckeyes, Urban Meyer. Coach, I got to feel like this has to be surreal for you in some senses. How do you balance out trying to enjoy what's going on here and appreciating being in the Rose Bowl for the first time, appreciating that this is your last game with the notion that, hey, I want to win this thing and I want to be fully prepared?
Well, I learned at a very young age in coaching, you got to be yourself. And myself is that this is not just another game. This is the Rose Bowl. I've never seen the green grass until 7 minutes ago when I walked out on that field and looked at it. I've never seen the mountains from inside the Rose Bowl like I've heard about for 50 years. So for me to say, oh, it's just another game. No, it's not. It's not another game. This is the Rose Bowl. And I will say this, the only one way to enjoy the Rose Bowl is go win it. And our players, that's the culture here. That's not going to change. And we're here to win the Rose Bowl, but also enjoy it.
You mentioned as soon as you got the invitation to the Rose Bowl how special it was to you growing up in Ohio, but your players didn't necessarily know. And Howard and I laughed that you were educating them right away. So how have you educated them even more about the importance?
We did some fun facts. You know, Archie Griffin's the first player ever to start 4 games in a Rose Bowl. And surprisingly, Jerry, is that I've been in places where all of a sudden you don't make the playoff and you go to a bowl game and fans don't buy tickets, your players sit out, you know, and I was petrified that, you know, how do you deal with that? And the minute the word Rose Bowl came up, I was pleasantly surprised that the respect, understanding the value of the Rose Bowl was instantaneous through our program. And we follow social media on our players, and I was just asking Ryan Stamper, our guy that does that, he goes, Coach, our players are jacked. It's the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, California, so I was pleasantly surprised.
The players have said you are dialed in. Nothing's different from your approach to this game. But they also have said they've seen you a little bit more relaxed. One mention, you actually got on a roller coaster.
I got to change that.
Something about a roller coaster?
A roller coaster? I mean, what's going on?
Yeah, I tell people the reason I did that is because Paris Campbell and I were holding hands real tight. I'm facing my fears. I'm not a big roller coaster guy, and they said, let's do it. They gave me a hard time, so I did it. I'm glad I did. Just once, though.
Is it a part of you that can relax a little bit for a moment, or is it all just knowing that it's going to be your last game? Is it any part that can relax and just be where your feet are at that moment and enjoy?
I have feeling not the intensity of what's next. You know, for example, I'd be on the phone probably a decent 2 hours a day on recruits. I'm not doing that. But as far as focus for the football game, it's standard operated procedure. That's what we do. And so I've always tried to take in bowl experiences for our players because it is a reward and let them have some fun and all that. But and they could recite this to you. Number 1, go win the game. Number 2, develop players. And number 3, enjoy the bowl experience. And we've always tried to do that.
Coach, you're advising a coach younger than you to deal with these players not wanting to play in bowl games. How do you advise a player? How do you tell a coach how to advise a player? That's extremely sensitive. You know, we've had it happen. Last year we had Denzel Ward. This year, obviously Nick Bosa, but he was hurt earlier in the year. I can't give you the exact answer on that. There's nothing in coaching manual that says how do you talk a player into. First of all, you never talk someone into anything. Right. Same thing if a player's trying to come back or not for his 3rd year, 4th year, whatever it is, you can't tell them what to do because you can't have that on if something happens. You can advise and you can have conversation with them, and I've done that, but we would never tell, and I would tell Ryan, you never tell. That's a family decision.
How have you seen this team grow from first day of training camp to where you are now today?
Well, we have a big saying and mantra around our facility on that when I needed you the most, you gave us your very best. And in real life, that's usually not what happens. Usually when there's adversity, things happen, people scatter. If they're not invested, they're not on the inner circle, people scatter. And that didn't happen here. We had an issue, you know, the early season stuff going on. Right. We had the best player in college football get hurt and go train for the NFL. We had a terrible loss, and yet by the end of the season, we were playing our best football. And how does that happen? That's because of the culture. That's called the brotherhood. And some people think that's coach speak or cliche or whatever, which fine. They've never been in a locker room then. Because I've been in locker rooms too where that's absolutely what it is. That's not true. This one's real.
This might be too personal for you to answer. Are you going to miss us this August?
Am I going to miss
us this August when we come to campus?
2 of the 3 of them.
I don't feel like we've really asked you about the opponent. Give us a sense of Washington and what you see and what the challenges are.
Excellent team. One of the best defenses in America. Certainly one of the best we faced in the last couple of years. The past defenses, they're all NFL players in the back end. I've known their coach for many, many years. We're very close. I've studied him. I actually, when I was with ESPN, went out to spend 2 days at Boise when he was there. I tell people the story that when we played Ohio State when I was at Florida in the Fiesta Bowl, they were in the Fiesta Bowl too, right for us. And I'm trying to sleep, and Shelly's hit me. Why don't you run plays like that? And that's when they ran the hook and ladder, and they ran the statue.
Yeah. Well, Coach, we will miss you in August, even if you won't miss DiNardo.